Hello and welcome to another episode here on Cruise and Coasters. I'm Jeff, and today we are at park number 11 of 22 on our USA theme park tour, and that brought us to the middle of the cornfields in Indiana to Indiana Beach for our first ever visit. I am so excited to check out so many of their rides. I've heard so many good things about Hoosier Hurricane, Steel Hog, which is a clone of the Green Lantern ride that we rode in Australia at Warner Brothers Movie World with some smaller trains. And they also have a brand new Schwarzkopf this year, the All-American Triple Loop that I'm very excited for. There were like 20 cars in the parking lot today, and we are arriving a little bit later than we originally anticipated because the remnants of Hurricane Beryl kind of came through this morning, but they have gone, blue skies are out, and I'm really glad that we waited a few hours to come here and check out the park because now it looks like we're gonna have beautiful weather for the day. So, to Indiana Beach. You can tell that the park probably got a little bit of severe weather like we did yesterday at the end of the day at Kings Island. If you haven't watched that vlog, make sure you go check it out. We did some tornado chasing at the end of it. And here we are. We are heading into Indiana Beach. Well, this was a cool entrance. I was not expecting this. You can see All-American Triple Loop is over here. I think that's Cornball Express, Hoosier Hurricane. Wow, it's a little bit bigger than I kind of imagined. And it's a really, really cool entrance to kind of walk into because we didn't see any of this until we walked through. The first coaster of today at Indiana Beach was the Lost Coaster at Superstition Mountain. That was wild and unhinged in all of the ways. So first off, you're kind of like seated in a cage with netting, and there's only two cars. It's really bizarre. Two people will sit forward, two people sit backward. And then there's an elevator lift on the wooden coaster, which is crazy. And then the turns are super tight. The drops are like really, really like steep and quick. So they kind of like just like throw you out of your seat. You're getting thrown left to right, which was a lot of fun. A lot of brake runs on it, like a lot of trims, I think, throughout the ride to keep you from going like too quickly. But the turns, I can't get over like how like not banked the turns were, but how like sharp they were at the same time. And I just don't understand how like the car even makes it around, to be really honest with you. That was just a really, really bizarre coaster that I have a really hard time explaining exactly what we just rode. That was wild. We just got off of Tiger, or like Tiger, however it is pronounced based on the silly spelling. That was actually kind of fun. I actually really enjoyed it. It's like a Schwarzkopf jumbo jet single car roller coaster. The helices actually provided a little bit of positive force to it. It was like relatively smooth-ish, all things considered. It was kind of like an outdoor tiger-themed space mountain. It was kind of that vibe. And it's a really pretty setting on the water. I don't know, I liked it. I thought it was cute and fun and cute. We came a little after lunchtime, so we're gonna try Captain Dougie's Fishing and More. One bite, you're hooked. I decided to Get a sloppy hot dog today, which is with chili. That looks good. And then I got a side of hush puppies as well, which are some of my favorite sides. Yeah, lunch looks good. Lunch is complete, and it basically was what you saw. It was a hot dog with some chili on it. It was fine. A little food in our belly is good. The hush puppies were actually quite delicious. They were seasoned really well. Really enjoyed those. The lunch that you saw, though, was $35 for 2 hot dogs, and then the hush puppies, and then Josh got a loaded tot. So just a little steep in food prices, in my opinion. I think it would probably worth close to like $20, $25 would have been a little more tolerable, but that being said, it's all good. So now we are heading to what we came here for, which is the All-American Triple Loop by Schwarzkopf that was moved here from Mexico last season. In addition to the coasters that we are doing today, the park also has a really good selection of flat rides and kids rides around here. So there's a lot of family-friendly rides for everyone to enjoy. Looks like we are finding our way over. There is Steel Hog. That is the orange coaster there. It's an El Loco clone. We loved it at Warner Brothers Movie World in Australia when it was the Green Lantern. And right beyond that, that is the All-American Triple Loop. You can see the park is very dead. We're here on a Wednesday, and the worker did tell us that they don't get many big crowds on the weekdays. But what's interesting is even though the park doesn't get big crowds on the weekdays, they are open really long today. They opened up at 10 a.m. and they close at 10 p.m. And I think the ride started opening at 11 a.m. So you get some really decent park hours even though the park is not busy. We finished up on Steel Hog, the S&S El Loco model here, and honestly, the restraints were a little intimidating for me. It does have like the over-the-shoulder and then the S&S like scream and swing lap bar, which is not my favorite restraint in the world, but surprisingly, it was actually a lot more comfortable than I thought it was going to be, and it really allowed for some little pops of airtime, a good like hang time moment. In like the dive loop, it kind of like holds you upside down for a little bit, and then there's like this like twist at the end that gives you a little bit of good hang time as well. So overall, it was quite fun. I have some bad news. You're gonna look behind me, and this has been roped off, which means I think we officially have our first spite of the 2024 USA theme park road trip, and All-American Triple Loop has been closed for the day. They do not anticipate it reopening today. Bummer, sad, but the good news is this park isn't that far away from Kings Island, and we do come to Kings Island quite a bit, so if needed, we can always come back. That is okay. But man, I am a little bummed to see it there, and knowing that we kind of came for this park for that attraction, and it is down for the day. What else is kind of silly is they do have a sign out front before you buy your tickets to let you know what rides are closed for the day, and it doesn't look like they've been updating that, and I kind of wish they would, just to kind of set expectations for your guests. But that being said, we're still gonna make it a great day. It's still a beautiful day, and still enjoying the rides that are open here at Indiana Beach. Okay, Cornball Express, I see you with that little surprise moment of airtime. There was like 2 or 3 moments of airtime where it was like ejector. We rode on the front row, and you have the nice buzz bar and just a little seatbelt, and you just like whew, launched right out of your seat. I was not expecting that. That was really, really enjoyable. It's definitely a little bit rougher than the Hoosier Hurricane, but overall it's still a really fantastic ride. You got those like 2 to 3 moments of like really solid airtime, and then the laterals on it were quite good. The Helix really reminded me of the Legend at Holiday World, and yeah, the airtime, it was good. It was a little rougher, like I mentioned, but nothing like too uncomfortable. I still managed to really enjoy it. If you guys watched my Cedar Point vlog, you guys will know how much I love an elephant ear, and we saw a fresh elephant ear stand and they made them to order, so I could not say no to a little treat yourself.
What's up, baby?
Hoosier Hurricane, which is behind me here, was an interesting little wooden coaster. So we did do it twice, once in the very front and once in the very back. And the first time we rode it, we were in the front, and through the entire ride I said, dang, this is so much smoother than I ever thought it would be. There's not a lot of airtime, not a lot of force to it. It is just enjoyable, and it is very scenic. It's very pretty on the lake here, as you can see behind me. But I was just like, wow, it is generally like pretty smooth, like for a wooden coaster. That I don't know, I really enjoyed it. Then we rode in the back row, my friends. Any sign of smoothness had left the building, and she was a rattly disaster, certified rattly disaster, and it felt like just a car crash. That was just, it was chaotic and crazy and just not really for me. So Hoosier Hurricane, great in the front, avoid the back. And that's gonna about do it for our day here at Indiana Beach. It was a pleasant little surprise, I'll tell you guys that much. I really enjoyed my day here at Indiana Beach. I'm really glad that we got here when we did. We spent around 6-7-ish hours in the park today, from the time that we arrived until about right now. And this morning when we got here until like early afternoon, I would say about 3 o'clock, we basically had the park to ourselves, and we rode as much as we want whenever we wanted, and there were absolutely no lines for anything. Around 4:30, a lot of groups started coming in. It started getting a lot busier, and most of the coasters, including Tiger, which can fit I think like 2 to 4 people max, are all on one train with a pretty extended queue. So I would imagine that those lines are quite lengthy. So I'm very, very glad that we planned our day the way that we did and did the park more towards like the morning and early afternoon. If you want to avoid longer waits here, I would suggest coming to the park closer to open and enjoy the park to yourself. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us at Indiana Beach. Pleasant little surprise, good little park. Really bummed that we missed out on the All-American Triple Loop, and then that we also missed out on Cyclone. I guess that's down for a pretty significant refurbishment. I do wish they would at least put that on the website, or at the front of the park they have the line, or they have the sign that says rides that will not be operating today, and neither of those attractions are on there. So I wish that they kind of set those expectations, but it's all good. Still had a really, really fun day here at Indiana Beach. Really enjoyed the food, the people were really pleasant, and the rides were enjoyable. So yeah, enjoyed the visit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tomorrow we're heading to Six Flags Great America. Very, very excited. I think all of the parks that are coming up on the channel now are first-time parks for the channel, so that's very exciting. So yeah, stay tuned for Six Flags Great America coming up next. Hit like to fight the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to see the rest of this USA theme park tour. We have 11 more parks to go. So excited. Keep cruising and coasting, and I'll see you guys at Six Flags Great America. Bye. Hello and welcome to another vlog here on Cruise and Coasters. Today is day 12. Well, actually, it's park 12. No, that's not right at all. That can't count. It is day 12. Hello, and welcome to another episode here on Cruise and Coasters.